Dudes and dudettes, how are you guys? This is Chazzy and welcome back to The Mixer, the segment on this channel where I give you guys all sorts of detailed analyses from all walks of life. I'll talk about people, places, animals, food, sports, traveling, the whole 9 yards. Hence why it's called The Mixer, because I like to mix things up in this huge playlist here with over 200 videos at this point. That is a lot of mixing. That is a lot of freaking mixering right there, man. I have mixed up so many topics over the years that it's crazy. Going for 300 soon. It's gonna take a while, but still. So today I'm going to be doing a very scientifically fundamental principle of science, a video that I've already covered before, but I want to do it again because it sucked the first time, so I want to remake it because that's how Hollywood does it, Whenever they do a movie that sucks the first time, they remake it again many years later, even though in many of their cases the original movies didn't suck, but in my case it does. I didn't like that original video, so I'm going to do it again for you guys and make it a little better if I can, I'm going to be covering the humanely scientifical propagational possibility of you surviving being struck by lightning. Now you might think, well, it's a no-brainer. Nobody can survive that, I mean, it's impossible given how a freaking lightning passes through air, and air is a very poor conductor for electricity, so it becomes really hot when the lightning passes through it. So the lightning gets up to temperatures of 50,000 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 5 times hotter than the surface of the goddamn sun. So yes, it's definitely not possible to survive that, There's definitely no way, and this is why you open this video, right? This is why you clicked on this video, so you can find out if it's actually possible or not, even though maybe you probably Googled it beforehand and you already know the answer, but still, it's complex, But first, let's break it down, right? It is estimated that there are around 240,000 lightning-related injuries, every year, so not necessarily being struck by lightning directly, but lightning-related injuries. So maybe it's going to strike another area nearby, it's going to channel to you or something like that, that does happen, and those specific kinds of injuries result in around 24,000 deaths every year. However, being specifically struck by lightning itself, right through your body, around 2,000 people a year suffer this grisly fate, but 5% of them result in very serious injuries. It's actually, believe it or not, pretty common to survive being struck by lightning. But if you live in America specifically, the odds of you being struck are 1 in 15,300, which is pretty okay. It's not the worst odds, I gotta say, and on average in America, 270 people are struck by lightning every single year, around the country, 10% of which result in death. So if you really stop to think about it, the odds are actually kind of in your favor here, even though it's always best to avoid being struck by it, it's still not as bad as it could be, you gotta be honest. And there are a lot of, how can I say, there are a lot of, very, very unpleasant side effects to being struck by lightning, you can probably imagine that, but in general, if you can believe it, there is actually a 90% survival rate, for those who are struck by lightning, but it doesn't mean that it's not going to have any lasting side effects, some of which can be permanent, it can lead to a lot of physical damage in the human body, can even lead to certain organs failing altogether. It's really complicated, and that's what I'm going to start talking about now. But right off the bat, that you can survive. It's possible, maybe I should have put that at the end of the video. Why did I talk about it so early on? Now the audience is probably going to click away. Well, to try to keep your attention here, let's take a look at some photos of random lightning strikes, huh? You can probably imagine just by looking at those images that being caught in the middle of that would not be very pleasant, would not be a very nice experience, just trying to picture myself in the middle of a lightning storm of that level, like holy crap, man, I mean, dude, it's gonna give you a lot of lasting damage even if you survive, man, we're talking like seizures and muscle spasms, even memory loss, or cataracts from the bright flash, and in more extreme cases, it can lead to you having hearing loss, and permanently, by the way, and also if you die, usually it's from an abnormal heart rhythm or respiratory failure, because it's pretty much jump starting your body, like from 1 to 100, in like a fraction of a second, you know. It's really complicated, man, you know. You have to imagine that lightning coursing through your body and your veins. It's pretty much like you taking a hamster and plugging it into a socket, you know, 220 voltage socket, and just lighting it up, you know. It's gonna blow up eventually. So it's really complicated. And one of the more interesting side effects in survivors is are these scars, you know, these permanent red scars that resemble wavy lines, you know, almost like I don't know, almost like ferns, you know, kind of like plants, you know. They look like very grim tattoos, you know, a very grisly reminder, you know, that resemble, what's the pronunciation? Lichtenberg figures, you know, something like that, you know. It's really complex, and it looks very strange because depending on how it forms, it almost looks like a work of art, almost like an intentional tattoo. But if you go on Google and look up these images, they actually are very, very hard to stomach, you know, because it really looks like the person, it's almost like they developed some kind of skin cancer, you know. It's really complex, man, and it usually is possible for you to survive immediately if somebody performs CPR on you, you know. It's possible to be rescued from a lightning strike, but in general, it's really complex. I think I'm gonna cough. Yeah, but anyways, so basically, it can cut off your circulation, you know. If you are able to be given artificial ventilation like mouth-to-mouth resuscitation, it's possible for you to survive, but a lot of people actually experience shock, you know, because it can lead to simultaneous cardiac and respiratory arrest, you know. So a lot of people who die from lightning strikes, they probably do it because just like the sheer shock value of it, you know, because you can go into cardiac arrest pretty much instantly, but I think because if you're directly struck by lightning, it's really complex, man. There was a study by National Geographic that says that around 2,000 people are, remember how I said earlier that 2,000 people are struck by lightning every year? Well, those same 2,000 people are killed, you know. National Geographic said that 2,000 people a year, damn it, around 2,000 people a year are killed by lightning strikes. However, there is a really interesting statistics here that I can actually share with you guys, you know. If all 8 billion people in the world have an equal chance of being killed over a 70-year lifespan, that's going to give them a lifetime probability of 1 in 60,000 to be struck and killed by lightning, which is already a little scary, you know, but then again, that is the worldwide, you know, spectrum, you know. It's all of the population in the world, you know, so it's complex. There are certain places in the world like Central Africa, you know, with those mountain zones that can actually have a higher chance of people being struck by lightning, you know. Depends on where you live and how often there are lightning storms every year, you know, but still, seems like in the US your odds are pretty slim. But then again, I think in places like Arizona there are quite a few lightning storms every year, so that's actually kind of scary, but still, semantics, right? Now, before I continue and talk a little bit more about my personal take on this, you know, let's take a look at something different here. If I can, I'm going to insert a little video here, a little clip showing maybe a lightning strike or something.
Most of the lightning takes place within the cloud, but some strikes the earth in bold flashes. In these cases, the charge escapes the cloud, making a branching path that reaches for the ground. The energy of the lightning strike contains hundreds of millions of volts and lasts only a fraction of a second. What seems to be a single flash is actually a series of return strokes of electrical energy reaching back up into the clouds.
What you guys have to consider is that despite a lightning bolt flowing in a certain area for a very short period of time, that current still has a power of 30 million volts of electricity. So no matter how it gets to you, it's gonna cause a lot of damage. You know, it's freaking insane. And there are 4 different categories of lightning strikes that can be directed towards a person, you know. There is the most common, which is the direct strike, where the bolt actually strikes the person directly and causes the most damage. There is also a side splash where the lightning bolt hits a place and then it jumps from that location to the person and strikes them. There is the contact injury where the person is going to be touching an object that is being struck by lightning. That energy is going to channel into them. And there is also the there is also the ground current, right? Which is when the lightning strikes the ground and then channels from the ground up to you. Usually it goes from your toes up to your head, you know. So all of these are very, very detrimental and will cause a lot of damage, you know. And usually the one that you most want to avoid is the direct strike, because that's what's going to really mess you up, you know. It is possible to survive any of these scenarios, but it does also depend. It seems like males, you know, men are more common to be struck than women, you know. And usually the age range is between 20 and 45 years of age that people can get struck, you know. It's really complicated how it works sometimes, you know. The group that's commonly affected, you know, in that age gap there, they do tend to survive a lot. So that's essentially how it works. So I think there was a taxi coming here. I'm getting a phone call, by the way. But anyway, I think that's pretty much it, guys. There's nothing else that I can cover in this video here, you know. I mean, I pretty much said it all, you know. I think that this might have been a little better than the first time I did it, because I put in the photos in the clip maybe, you know, and all that, and my battery's running low, so I gotta get going. And I'm also still feeling a little woozy because I've been sick over the last few days and I'm still kind of weak, you know. My stomach hurts, my throat hurts, my eyes hurt. I gotta just recording this vlog made me so thirsty, it's freaking insane. My throat is dry as hell. But anyway, let me know in the comments below what you thought about this, you know, if you think it's an interesting topic. If you've ever been struck by lightning, I hope you haven't, but if you survived, let me know. Well, you can't let me know if you didn't survive, right? So I don't know where I was going with that there. But anyway, so if you happen to like this video, please go ahead and give it a like, and also subscribe to my channel, because I release videos every single day. And while you're at it, hit the notification bell too, so I can know exactly what time I upload. And it's all good. It's all good. Go away, you stupid train. I don't want to hear you freaking blaring at me right now. Anyway, that's it, guys. This is Chazzy signing out for now, and as always, I will see you guys in the next video. Yeah, that's the outro, right? Yeah, roll the outro screen. I'm so sick, I don't even remember how I finish my videos.